one and all, wherever you are and whenever you're watching. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. My name's Andy, and this is Craftalytical, where I talk about all sorts of subjects around creativity, mental health, and physical health. I also interview people just like me and the experts from time to time. Today, I want to talk about diagnosing and how the media label things. Now, I'm going to stray a little bit into pop culture with this one, but it's something I've noticed happens an awful lot with celebrity stories. So most recently, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, and over the last few weeks, Ezra Miller. Now, you don't have to know who these people are. Believe me, I don't really know who Ezra Miller is other than the current news about their mental health and the trouble that they've got into. It was the same with Amber Heard. I knew nothing about her going into the trial, but I watched every moment of it because I was interested in what the outcome and what the evidence would show. The problem is a lot of commentators in mainstream media and on YouTube, independent creators have taken to labeling specifically Ezra Miller as insane or nuts or crazy, and talking about potential mental health issues. Now, Ezra Miller has come out with a statement saying that they are dealing with some serious mental health issues and that they are hopefully getting treatment. The problem is there's a lot of clickbaity titles out there, and they usually have those words in them: insane, crazy, nuts. And there's a commentary about what could possibly be factoring into their behavior. Now, when you're in the public eye, part of that territory is knowing that someone is going to talk about you or give an opinion, whether that's in mainstream media or online. There's going to be comments from your everyday average person on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. And there's going to be content creators that are creating videos about you. That's part of the territory. And sometimes it's a terrible part of the territory. When it comes to mental health and disorders, when these commentators are talking about them, excuse that, my dog is barking, there are labels that get thrown around, and that becomes dangerous because it damages, it's not only about the person that you're talking about, it damages people who are watching, who are listening to this content. As someone who has been labeled crazy and had that word thrown around, it's damaging. It feels like I am being spoken about in that moment. Or when, for instance, PTSD is portrayed on television, it is portrayed as these NARM-style flashbacks that are so real to the person, they are reliving that moment physically as well as mentally. And for most of us, that is not what it is like. That is incredibly rare. That's just the worst case possible. I'm not even sure that it does happen. When I have a flashback, you don't know that I'm having a flashback. So there is a damage. I understand that these things need to be portrayed in layman's terms and they need to be easy to grasp. But using those words can affect other people, people who are officially diagnosed with those conditions. With Ezra Miller, I can't diagnose him. I am not a professional. I have never met this person. I don't know anything about their mental or physical state or who they are, how their childhood has affected them, if there's any family history that may factor into what is going on with them. It sounds to me like they are having a serious break from reality. From my lived experience and the lived experience of friends who I've been lucky enough to have them share that information. And, Benny, who I interviewed, who was my first interview on this channel, discussed his experience of that kind of physical and emotional and mental break from reality. That's what it sounds like. But we shouldn't be diagnosing. We shouldn't be labeling this, because it has the potential to damage people who do live with those conditions, because it's misinformation. It's creating a problem for the people who do have these conditions to combat. When I have discussed having PTSD, I have been asked if I have the kind of flashbacks that you see on TV programs. The one that comes to mind is there was a Criminal Minds episode about a veteran who was suffering from PTSD, and that had led him to do some awful things because he was in this flashback. Now, while that got the storyline across, it's been very damaging to me, because that is people's experience of what it is like living with complex PTSD. And it's the same for people who have bipolar disorder or borderline personality disorder, that the vast majority of people dealing with these medical issues and on the medication and everything else don't act the way it's portrayed, don't have these type of breaks while they are medicated and looking after themselves and in treatment. The vast majority of them will harm themselves before they would harm someone else. There is still a level of logic, even in the worst moments, for most of us with these conditions. So be aware when you're consuming this information that there is always a spin to sensationalize it and get clicks. There is always a spin that can be damaging to those of us with mental health conditions. If you are one of those people that has been damaged by this kind of misinformation or spin, I see you. I see that struggle, and I see that having to correct people, having to give that emotional labor over to someone else is really hard. It takes a lot of energy, and you are not alone. Please, if you are watching these videos, be aware that they are for clicks. And while they may be imparting or reporting on other reporting, the initial reporting has a spin and the person doing it has a spin. And if you are damaged, or harmed by these things, take care of yourself. Do a self-check. Step away from those types of videos, those types of news articles. It is okay to protect yourself, and reach out. Ask for help in dealing with those things and processing them. And leave a comment in the video, below this video, and let us know. Share your story if you're comfortable to. Don't ever share something you're not comfortable with. But if you want to, share your story so that we can let you know that you are seen, that you are not alone. And let us know what you would want these people to change about their reporting. If you have any questions about our lived experiences or anything else like that, leave those in the comments as well. I will, if I don't know, I will research, I will ask the experts, and I will get back to you. do also go and have a look at A Psych for Sore Minds. Dr. Shaham Das has been on TV programs and other podcasts and all sorts of other things. His videos are really informative. He is a forensic psychologist, so he can talk with authority about these subjects in a way that I can't. Thank you so much for sticking with me and listening to this video. Please do like, subscribe, and hit that bell. It's the best way to help me get this channel going and growing. If you want to get in touch with me, you can. You can email craftalytical@gmail.com, or you can search me out on Twitter, give me a follow, and send me a DM. That's at craftalytical on Twitter. Thank you so much for your time, wherever you are and whenever you're watching. Thank you very much. You are appreciated, and I'll speak to you soon.